Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. This is another live-ish chat because we're doing this with a flashcard, but this will be online shortly. I'm Bill Winterberg, founder of fppad.com. Now joining me today, I've got Ryan Russell of 20Over10, nice t-shirt, and Samantha Russell, also of 20Over10.
Yes. Even though I don't have the t-shirt, I'm still with 20Over10.
I think we'll let you slide this time.
Okay.
But I've invited you guys to come in and talk about websites, talk about social media and online presence, talk about opportunities that anyone watching can take advantage of now, whether or not they're a user of 20Over10 or they're using another system out there. I want to cover some of those things that they can do right now to really take advantage of opportunities with online content, with their social media presence, and grow more business. And because hopefully you're watching shows like this for some of those business takeaways and key strategies. So I wanted to start off by giving the opportunity to talk about what 20Over10 is, because you've been connected with FPPad. We went to the 2016 NAB show in Las Vegas. We had the t-shirts on. I'll link to the videos on YouTube for that 2016 playlist. But that was a great chance where we were touring Las Vegas for camera gear, audio gear, all things that could support video content, online content, and it made total sense for someone who supports the distribution of online content for financial professionals and others. So tell us a little bit about what 20Over10 is.
Yeah, so 20Over10 is a website development tool and online marketing tool specifically for financial advisors. So we are a platform that allows financial advisors to really communicate their unique value proposition, their unique voice online effectively. One of the big differentiators that we realize in the industry is that we want to move very far away from the sort of template-based model, farm content, where you're simply posting your bio and your contact information, but the same information, same photos, same layouts.
We've all seen the website of the guy in the red convertible driving over the Golden Gate Bridge that everybody used to have on
the sailboats, the compass.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so, one thing I like to tell advisors, especially when we meet them at conferences or when we're doing some, initial sales inquiries, is that, when you're having a conversation with a new lead, it's likely the second or third conversation that lead is going to be having with you.
Sure.
They've already done their due diligence, right? I mean, think about buying a car. You're going to go in and you're going to research that car. You're going to research prices, Kelley Blue Book, etc. Same thing's going to be true of your financial advisor. You're going to go to their website. You're going to check out their social media. You're going to make sure that they're established, that they have a presence online, and that they're reputable.
And then some of your key value is that you already mentioned you're specifically built for the financial professional. Mm-hmm. So there's some nuances that, anybody can just get a website today, but there's nuances with respect to financial services. So what are some of the things that you're able to offer that addresses the specific needs of the regulated financial services industry?
Sure. Yeah. So the back end of our dashboard, every advisor has a dashboard that they can log into. And every time they make a change to their website, whether it's something big like putting a new blog post up or something small like fixing a word maybe that they found and they had a typo in, they're going to have an approval process, whether it's themselves internally, they're their own compliance officer, or they work with a broker-dealer that needs to approve it. So they're going to have that built-in compliance engine where the approvals can happen, and then everything is archived. And so it makes it really easy for them to rest assured that they're following the protocols that they need to when it comes to producing content and keeping their website up to date. We always say, compliance hinders creativity in this space, and our solution solves that problem.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges we had early on is that we're working with a demographic that's very, very broad. So we have advisors that are 24, 25. We have advisors that are in their mid to late 70s. The goal here is to make sure that anybody can get on, be able to update and add content, be able to have that unique voice, be able to highlight those calls to actions effectively without leaning heavily on any sort of web professionals and sort of, assimilating all those additional costs and things like that.
So in your work with financial advisors, financial professionals, and again, you cover a big spectrum there in the types of clients and customers that you have. Are there some specific trends that pop out for you now that anyone who has like a dashboard or a user interface, some trends that they should be taking advantage of, or things that they should be considering right now that they should use for your website? What kind of has interested you about mid-2017 you see as an advantage or an opportunity for your customers?
Yeah, a few things. One of the major ones that I'm sure is music to your ears as a content creator is advisors are seeing the benefits of content creation. They're finally getting the message and realizing I can do something like write a blog post. It can be 2 paragraphs long about a topic even, and post it to my website, and I'm going to have a better SEO ranking. I'm going to have a better chance connecting with potential clients. It's going to make my site more authentic because it's in my own voice. It's not just these static pages. It's, blog posts can be a lot more informal than what your homepage is going to say. And so they can post it on social media and keep their social media presence up to date. So they're really, they know that they need to produce content. What we're starting to see is more conversations of how that's going to happen, because often they don't have the time or inclination, or maybe they feel like it's going to be too time intensive. So we really strategize a lot with the advisors we work with on how to create blog posts over time in a way that is more natural and easy. So it can be something as simple as maybe you're an avid reader and you read 3 or 4 articles, every morning. So at the end of the week, you choose 5 and you say, these are 5 articles my client should be reading this week. And you can turn that into a blog post. And it's really easy to do, but it seems daunting when you first get started. So we'll show you in a little bit, but our platform makes it really easy for people to approach content. So that's the biggest trend I see. I don't know if you have something different.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest conversations that we have with advisors is often, at the very beginning of this process, we always say, okay, you've got viewers on your website. What do you want them to do next? Yep. And it's odd that the majority of people are so surprised that they now have visitors to their website. They haven't thought about what they want them to do, right? Yeah. So, at this point, what does that mean? Is there going to be any sort of, ebooks, takeaways? Is it contact us? Is it leveraging, integrations with various channels to be able to, capture those leads, etc.? And so that's really, really important for people to be able to consider as part of, the early process, to be able to establish that up front as the objectives of what you want your online, presence to do for you.
So I hear a combination of the authentic content written in the advisor's voice, or maybe from a team perspective from within the entire advisory office. That can be the lead or the draw in, because someone's looking for an answer to a question. They want some more information about a topic that is really important for them financially. But then you talk about what's next. So you got that person to read your content and they like the way that it's framed, but then what? Is there more than just a phone number that's needed on the page? Is there an opportunity for that visitor to sign up for a newsletter? I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to buy a financial plan within the first 10 seconds of visiting, I think, anybody's financial website. But if I have a way to sign up and receive a newsletter and get some of this additional content, I begin to get a better flavor for what the total experience is like.
Absolutely. And I think we call them tier 1 and tier 2 calls to action. So you really want to have, those entry level calls to action where they don't want to put their phone number in because they don't want you calling them yet. So just an email address. They don't mind getting an email. They can easily ignore that, right? If they want to. You
can also unsubscribe as well. Exactly. If you're not interested anymore or the tone isn't what you're looking for, you can always unsubscribe. But you can,
gate content. And I think one of the issues is in the past it's been hard to do this stuff. You would have to contact a web developer every time you wanted to get these things done.
This is where we're going.
And so it's been really difficult. It wasn't easy for people to do these things. Now we can say, I have a free checklist for, employees of XYZ Corporation. I live in this town. I service a lot of their employees with their benefit packages. And we will go ahead and put together a checklist or a guidebook for when you're 5 years out from retirement from this company. I help a ton of people like you. And you can put it on your website and say you have to give me your email to get it. And it's a really easy way to, start tripping on somebody over time without requiring them, like you said, to call or book a meeting or something like that.
Well, I think too, it's also the easiest way to really start, especially for young advisors, to establish yourself as an expert, right? It's not only the production of this content, but it's the dissemination of this content too.
Yeah.
We really want to get this out there to be in front of people. We're really lucky to have a lot of young advisors on our platform who have been featured in some incredible publications, and it's really helped them out tremendously to build credibility in an industry that has been older. So.
You make a good point, because if I see someone quoted in the online publications that are really big, I think it's safe to say Wall Street Journal and Forbes and Bloomberg, I've got a little app or widget on my computer that anytime I highlight text on a page, I can activate a Google search. So if that advisor's name is in there or their advisory firm is there, I just highlight the firm and boom, I've got a search for that advisor's firm. And even though they might have Twitter, they might have Instagram or Facebook, I'm ending up on their website 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And it's what's on their website. If they have any of the lead capture or email signups, it probably increases the chances of me engaging. If I were in the market for an advisor,
Absolutely.
I definitely would want to sign up for that. And you never know how that works, but if you're able to draw them into a website, websites still seem to be the place to build your brand, to build your content, and draw in your prospects.
Well, it's your home base, right? So even, people say, well, why would I need a website if I have my portfolio aggregator and these other URLs? And a lot of it comes down to brand recognition. You still want that central hub that current and prospective clients can come to as a point of departure to, those integrations, or to, read some of that new content, because your website has to be conversational. It should be a dialogue. Too many websites today serve as a monologue where you're speaking at people rather than being, really approachable and bringing people, in.
And one of the other points, Ryan and I talk about a lot is we hear from so many advisors who, understandably, they're used to the way things used to be, in the sense that most of their business came from referrals. And so they would see their website as a brochure where they could make it more just a monologue. Here's who I am, here's what I offer. They're not used to the idea that a lot of people who are in that wealth accumulation stage of their life right now grew up Googling things that they needed. They do their research online. So they still might ask 4 or 5 friends, who do you go to, as your financial advisor? But they're going to Google all those people first to find out which one might, make the best impression. And so what I always say is your homepage of your website should really allow somebody to do one thing, to self-qualify. They should be the one deciding, yes, I'd be a perfect fit for this advisory firm. So rather than you having to have that conversation and convince them that they'd be, a perfect fit, they look at your homepage, they read a couple blog articles, and they think, oh my gosh, this advisor helps people just like me. And then they're ready to get dripped on in an email campaign or to schedule a call.
Well, I'm intrigued. I'd like to see when we've got a demo set up here.
Yeah,
so it's demo time. Let's jump into the platform and show me how you've been able to simplify some of these complicated things about blog content, maybe taking advantage of video content or other types of things on pages that used to be kind of hard. You had to hire a web developer or somebody talented with this stuff to incorporate. But now with this demo, you'll show us just how easy it really is.
Absolutely.
So let's jump right in.
All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'll log in with a demo account, if I can remember my login and password.
Oh, you forgot the N.
So what we're looking at now is the 20/10 dashboard. And again, so, one of the initial challenges that we, really addressed when we started creating this platform was, who's our target demographic? Not thinking about just what they needed to do, but also what their capabilities were, right? So we're developing a platform for advisors that are 24, 25, very web savvy, other advisors that might just be, relatively new to the scene, right? And so what we want to make sure is that we minimize the amount of intimidation that some of these web-based tools can have. So everything is going to be very drag and drop. One of the coolest things about our platform is the editability allows you to simply click and start typing. So what we're looking at here is just a demo site here to the right, and it's fully functional. So as you go through your entire site, you have the ability to go through and see these changes happen in real time. Nothing's represented on your live site. As Samantha said, one of the biggest things is going to be considering your compliance, whether you're affiliated with a broker dealer, a third-party compliance team, or you yourself are responsible for your compliance, you have to make sure that you have a series of checks in place that allow you to submit and appropriately approve.
Yeah, I see you're in the editor, and then you have a publish option, which probably kicks off the workflow for the compliance process.
Yeah, now you'll see a total bird's eye view of your website architecture, so you can easily, start to move things around. So I can go through and I can start to reorganize entire pages, content, sub-pages, main pages, and add as many new pages as I'd like.
And it just refresh like literally on the fly in less than half a second.
Absolutely.
So you don't even have to hit save and preview and do any of that stuff.
Yeah. Nobody wants to wait anymore for anything, right?
Well, that's good.
We bounce off a page if it takes more than a second to load. So
that's right.
We don't have time to wait.
Yeah, so as we're talking about adding new content, again, one of the things that we have to consider is, and it's something Samantha talks about all the time, is that your marketing plan today and how you're marketing your firm is going to change over time. So in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, you're going to have new strategies, right? So you have the ability to add as many pages as you'd like. Now, design tip, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
Sure.
Don't have 50 pages.
Don't have 50 pages sort of as those top level buttons, right? Nest appropriately. But for those of you that need multiple blog pages, say for insights and thought leadership, and then maybe like to an events page, right?
You have the ability to do that. Or you have multiple advisors, and maybe one specializes in 401ks and another one's building up a younger business. They can each have their own blog within one website. So there's no need for people to go and build out a whole separate site.
Yeah, so we can make sure too that all of this is happening within the compliance engine as well. Now, editing pages becomes really, really simple. So when we go in and we want to start editing and adding content, we can simply go in, we can click on the page, and we can just click and type. So this is an inline editor. So again, what you're seeing is, the ability to just sit and start to edit content. Now, this little inline editing tool is going to leverage a lot of the same functionality that you use every day in email and Microsoft Word. It allows you to tailor and edit your content to meet the styles and standards that you have set throughout the rest, as well as, and arguably, in my opinion, the most exciting, add all sorts of new dynamic content. So whether it's images, buttons, files, videos, lead captures, and even changing up content, you can do those things. One of the things that we talk about a lot and we see a trend that's growing is video produced content in the industry. Mm-hmm. We think that's absolutely wonderful. So we want to make it easy for you to be able to share that content on your website. And how can you do that? Inserting video has never been easier, right? We can insert video now instead of messing with embed codes and things like that, right? Having to deal with the source code or go to a webmaster to put it in. You can simply drop in the URL. And we'll just paste the URL in and insert, and that video is going to drop in.
And for those of you who don't know, this is a great video to watch because this is...
I recognize that. But again, you didn't have to go get the embed code. You don't have to figure out how wide and how tall it is. I'm assuming that you've got some of that responsive stuff in the background, right?
Completely mobile responsive.
Yeah.
Anything you add, photos, video, will automatically be mobile responsive for you, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, everything that we build is mobile first, right? So everything from the very start is going to have those smaller screens in mind. And that's going to be really important, not just for accessibility to make sure that people can access that content, because it's very likely that they're going to be looking at it on phones or tablets, but also for SEO purposes. Yeah. We know now that if your website isn't mobile friendly, not only is it going to be hard to get to, but if somebody's on a mobile device, it's going to be invisible, right? It's not going to show up in those search engines anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
I think one of the tools, if you don't mind, that I would love to show everybody would be how easy it is. Like if you have a blog, we talked about, you'd want to capture leads, make it really easy to tell people what to do next so that they know. And so we have the ability to add in these lead capture or forms really easily. So you don't have to contact your webmaster each time. So why don't we show them that?
Yeah, so in terms of the application of forms, you can do it anywhere on your site. So whether you're on a main page, a get started page, a contact page, or a lead page, which we'll show you here in just a moment, you have the ability to very easily start to add in some of these lead captures. Now in a moment too, I'm going to show you some of our exciting new integrations, but right now we can add forms that capture individuals' email addresses, right? Or we can make this, a lot more in-depth, the full Monty, names, emails, phones, messages.
So it's native. I don't have to go subscribe to another service first in order to get this. You just offer it right as part of the package.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And one of the cool things too about those forms is I'll just head over to my site settings into our integrations panel. You'll see that we have a number of integrations that now work with some very popular CRMs in the industry. So Redtail is one we just launched 2 weeks ago maybe, and so what it's going to do is funnel that contact form information into your Redtail CRM.
Terrific.
Now,
Same with MailChimp.
And if you're using a different CRM, we can certainly set it up. These are just the one-click integrations we already have on the dashboard.
Okay, so there's less to do here because it's a one-click integration. You certainly can support information transfer to others.
Absolutely.
It might take a few other steps, but you can get that information
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah. Now, for those that are looking to do a lot of thought leadership, our blogging platform is extremely robust. Everything from searchability to categorization to featured images to social sharing, users have the ability to do. You can go in, you can start to manage posts, create new posts or events with titles, content, whether it again is your own individual thought leadership or whether you are linking to external URLs, maybe something that you've been featured in or you've co-written or something you just find really valuable that you want to share with your prospective leads, your excerpts. You can categorize. Now, I should mention too that these categories are not pre-planned, so you can be as granular or as broad with how you want to organize, posts like this. We give individuals the ability to add featured images. Now, a lot of people think this is a really small detail, but I just want to focus on this just for a moment because, again, everything that we're doing with the design of, websites is really looking at the data of how people actually interact with the web.
Sure.
We're seeing that the use of featured images on blog posts jumps engagement by 50%.
Yeah.
So it's really, really great idea to take that extra step to make sure you're adding those visuals in to capture some of that attention.
Well, especially if there's relevancy with the image and what you're talking about. So do you offer a library of images that are already approved and ready for use, or should somebody go get a subscription to another image service? How does a user get served
that's
up
a really
the
great service. That's a really great question. Good answer would be we don't provide base images, and the reason is actually quite simple. We don't want all the same images showing up on everybody's website.
Good point.
However, we do have some existing relationships with some wonderful providers that do free stock imagery that you can access, right?
So if you just go to our blog and you search stock photo, actually I think it's stock photos.
Let's just do free images,
okay,
right?
There you go.
You can go, and these will give you access to millions of images that you can leverage, not only in our blog post, but throughout the site, to be honest, right? So whether you're looking at pictures, textures, colors, things like that, these are all really great resources.
And whether you're a 20Over10 user or not, our blog is a great place if you're looking for tips on developing your unique selling proposition. There's one out there. Other creative ideas of how to design a website. We always feature guest posts from others in the industry. So it's a great place to go for just advice or creative input on what you should put on your website.
Like maybe videos about camera and audio gear that you can use to make videos.
Right.
I mean,
it's a great
I'm just
idea.
saying, I don't know.
That's right.
It's a good suggestion. Yeah. Now, we want to mention too and talk a little bit about SEO because it is a question that comes up, and a lot of people, I think, are still sort of under the assumption that SEO still lives with just simply adding keywords to your metadata on your post, and that populates it in Google. But
That's important, but
it's important. Now, those keywords need to be kind of throughout the page, right? We need to be paying attention to the metadata, how we're organizing that information, right? So having a CMS, a content management system like this, allows you to add not only those keywords throughout your content in the appropriate places, but we're also helping you, add metadata, meta description specifically to pages, to subpages, and to every single blog post. And to even take it a step further,
I can kind of see the engagement of this video going down when you start talking about metadata, right? But here's the practical takeaway is how does your solution just make it really easy to take advantage of search engine optimization opportunities?
Basically, you can do a quick summary of what the key points that the blog post is about right here, and it will help people find your blog post in the sea of other blog posts about.
Because you do all the Google magic behind the scenes,
absolutely,
so that it's more discoverable for the specific topics that are written.
And one thing I'm sure a lot of advisors have dealt with that's frustrating to them is, or maybe you even experienced this, Bill, where you post something on social media and the preview link and the image that it pulls, it's like, why is that what's coming up? It makes no sense.
Right.
So we've built in a feature here where you can actually control when your post is shared exactly what is the image that's going to be featured as well as the description.
Good.
Yeah, so you'll notice like on all of our blog posts, and you have the ability always to turn this off, is that for every post you have the ability, to enable easy social sharing so that you can go in very simply, share, these to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+.
Well, that's good because I frequently will come across something that an advisor wrote. I think it's really good. I'm very active on Twitter. I like to share it that way, but it's just painful when I have to go copy the URL and paste it and do all that manually. I'm always looking for those share buttons. And again, this is one of those that some sites, an advisor has to go add a third-party widget, program it, and get it all squared away, and it doesn't always work, and sometimes the platform updates and the widget breaks.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this, right?
Anyone who's at a WordPress site can attest to that.
Yes, I wasn't going to say WordPress, but yes, WordPress or any of the others, sometimes that stuff breaks. And again, this is an advantage of when you have a relationship with someone who's taking care of this full time, you can count on these to work and work well.
Yeah, we've got you covered behind the scenes. Arguably, probably, and Samantha will probably back me up on this, one of the most exciting features, though, of our platform is the idea of adding landing pages. So what landing pages are, for those that don't fully grasp the concept, is landing pages are one-off pages that are not part of your main navigation or sub-navigation.
Yep. So you can't get to this page from any other page on the website.
Yeah, it's like unknown.
Sure.
But it still exists.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what you can do, though, is you can create really tailored, customized experiences for niche markets or for segments of your current or prospective users.
Events.
And you can send them directly to this page as their entry point into your website.
I like what Samantha said about events. You can create, if you do seminars, you do something once a month, you can do a page per event. It says, thank you for coming to this event. Mm-hmm. Here is the thing that I talked about. And you can do that specifically for each event that you make.
Well,
Absolutely.
We see a lot more advisors who are active in groups, LinkedIn discussions. They'll do Facebook campaigns even, and they want a landing page for each campaign so they can monitor the progress of the landing page. How much traffic does it actually get? Who actually completes the call to action on the page? So you can get as granular as you want and create as many of them as you want. And Ryan can show you how we've made it so that, again, you don't have to contact a webmaster every time you want to set one up. It's really easy to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or I know that there's third-party services that use landing pages. How do you get that integrated with WordPress or whatever platform you're doing? And sometimes those levers don't always talk with one another. Here, you can kind of bring us home with the demo as showing us how you support that.
It's all built in, right? And so it's also a key point to say we have no limits to the amount of landing pages that you can create.
I was going to ask, is there a limit?
Yeah, no. So we do see other providers that say, per landing page there's additional costs or they have a limit. And our thought is that we really want to encourage people to start effectively marketing themselves. So we have no limit, right?
So there's no disincentive.
Right. Unfortunately, right now we don't see people having enough, in our opinion. We want them to do more.
Right.
Because I was going to ask you, what can people be doing now? And this is one of those, is consider experimenting with more landing pages.
Try it. If you have a specific niche, like maybe you're really a general practice, but you find yourself, you really love working with a certain segment of the population. You love working with engineers, or you really resonate when you work with young medical residents.
Yeah, like student loan is a real big topic right now. So if you could do a landing page for student loan education and financing opportunities, that could be pretty strong.
And when you have a client meeting, send it to them after the fact and say, hey, if you have any friends you think that would also benefit from the information on this page, feel free to forward. It can't hurt. See what happens. And I think people are pleasantly surprised when they get that, focused on a specific audience, that all of a sudden the word starts spreading, because again, it helps somebody self-qualify. Yeah. It resonates with them.
Good.
Yeah, and to add, these are really simple. So if I just click add new next to my other pages and add a page, I'm able to title, I'm able to, add those background images, that SEO data, social sharing, and those pages will populate down here. You'll then have the ability, page by page, to go through and customize this message. So if you wanted to put in those forms that we talked about early, or dropping in those PDFs, adding buttons, links, or simply just sort of talking about or announcing an event or something or a promotion that you'll be running.
That's another great idea for a landing page.
This is the place to do it. And again, I can't say this enough, is that it is just a matter of, clicking and typing. So you can customize this message to be, really whatever it needs to be. The cool thing with this too is, as Samantha said, if you're experimenting, you see some things succeed, other things fail, adding, deleting, equally as simple, right? So we can delete these pages to ensure that, they're gone. Now,
and since they're not part of the normal navigation, you don't have to be so concerned about breaking your website or having these links that don't end up going to pages anymore.
And we can even turn, if you're in build and you want certain things reviewed by a third-party compliance, you can turn pages on and off and make it so that you can be working on something, but it doesn't have to be live.
Yeah, a lot of really great capabilities when you work with our designers. Again, one of the things that we're always going to want to do is actually have that initial conversation, right, about what makes you unique, what makes you special. We think that's really important.
Yeah.
So these are the things to kind of bring up. And when we talk about sort of the goals and objectives, what do you want the website to accomplish, we want to discuss that a little bit further so that we can show you how the tools can really help you optimize those opportunities.
Yeah, it's sometimes easy to get caught up into all the fancy things that the platform can do, which I know I get overwhelmed by trying to stay up to date on all sorts of technology solutions. Sometimes you have to take a step back and say, just what is it you're trying to accomplish? Let's start there. And then that helps us eliminate certain solutions and focus on others that really amplify the things that you're trying to get done in your business.
Absolutely. And publishing, right? So we talk about compliance a lot. We have to make sure that, in the event of an audit, we have the appropriate records. We have all of that available at our fingertips. And so we want to make not only the access to those materials, but also the initial review process very, very easy. Now, this can look one of two ways. So if I just go up here and I click publish, ultimately what we'll do early on is, we'll establish whether or not you are sending specifically to a third-party compliance team, such as a broker-dealer, or whether you yourself are responsible for your own compliance. With the former, we have an entire suite of tools dedicated to the review process, where you have the ability to communicate directly with your compliance team, actually within the app. So you have the ability to chat directly with them. So as things are getting approved or rejected, you're being notified. If there's questions, you can even preemptively ask and discuss what sort of ideas and opportunities, might be available.
Now, I think that's cool. That's some of your enterprise level clients are using that chat and that
they all have access. Pathway. Absolutely.
I think that's pretty clever.
Yeah.
And one of the other great things you'll see down at the bottom is if it's something they're thinking about doing within their marketing as a whole and they want to just get that record, that archive record, they can, but it's not on the website yet, or it's not something they know where they want to put it. Maybe it's a new image that they've developed. They can add links or upload files just to this chat. So they could say to the compliance person, hey, we're having this one pager developed. Can you just review it? We haven't decided what we're going to do with it yet, but it can all be archived in this one general marketing hub. So again, you have that record of conversation.
So now we're getting back to that value proposition of, people may say, well, 20Over10, it's just a website hosting provider. Well, now I think that this demo, we realize that it's more, yes, website hosting is the core, but there's these compliance features, there's this collaboration with the compliance department, there's the landing page functionality, and I'm sure a bunch of stuff we've not been able to cover in the demo. That's actually pretty impressive, the numbers of things that you're supporting right in the solution. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we took a very unique approach. When we launched our beta in early 2015, and rather than really focus on the clients that we didn't have, we really talked a lot to the clients that we did have to think about, what features not only do you need, but would you like? What's difficult for you to do? What, can we make easier? What's almost too easy? So we were able to kind of go back, and when we launched formally earlier this year in early March, late February, V2, 20Over10 V2 was really the child of all of those conversations. With the compliance review, we talk a lot about compliance teams, but, RIAs, if you're responsible for your own compliance, we'll send this directly to you. They'll still have the ability to review everything before they actually choose to publish. So they can always go back and make edits continuously.
Good.
And of course, all of those changes, anything that goes live, we are going to archive for you. And we're going to do it in various formats, right? So we've got you covered from all angles. Everything's going to be date stamped and time stamped. private permanent URLs that'll capture your site at that point in time, as well as printable and downloadable documentation that in and of itself.
Whoa, and you put that index in there?
Absolutely.
Wow, great.
Yeah. And so again, we make it printer friendly. So for those of you who still want to print these out and make notes.
Oh, you never know what type of examiner comes in your office.
Then that's exactly right. Yeah.
Hopefully that's not the case for most of you.
Yeah, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Now here's something that's really interesting, and it's something that I wanted to kind of double back to with the content management system, because there's a lot of talk with, farm content and, having this unique ability to write your own content, and what does that mean? One thing that should be really stated, and one of the biggest dangers about farm content that people don't really talk about, is ownership. If you are to leave a provider that gives you that farm content, you cannot take that with you. Mm-hmm. That's inherently theirs. They maintain ownership.
Right. You just license it when you're a subscriber of their service.
Exactly. And the way that we're approaching is much, much different. So that's why this compliance review is so important. So it still gives you the ability to go through, and even though you don't have all this pre-approved content, right, you still have the access to review everything. And if you decide to leave 20/10, it's still yours.
It's all yours.
And we always say we believe in curating content. That I think is something that a good thought leader does. They take the best of what's out there and they curate it for their audience. But you have to also have your own as part of the mix. And so having that balance is really important.
Absolutely.
Advice is a relationship-based business. And if you're writing content that has your voice and that authenticity, that reinforces the relationship connection between an advisor and a client. So I understand some advisors are busy, and so they turn to some of the pre-existing compliance-approved content. But we talked about just briefly some of the pros and cons that you don't own it, you license it, and it's not necessarily in your voice.
It's never going to be as specific, as you could make it.
That's right. Yes, it takes more time, but the rewards, I guess, by having your own unique voice out there, I think have unlimited upside.
Yeah. Is there anything I'm missing, Sam? Anything?
I think those are the main points.
Yes, you're missing. How does everybody get it?
Yeah,
right? How do they sign up and go get it?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up a landing page for you that will be available, and it's going to be at fppad.20over10.com.
Let's get that up on the screen. There it is.
There it is. So what we want to do is we want to offer, a free month, 45 days at no cost.
That's a month and a half.
That's a month and a half.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, we have 14 days free already.
We'll take care of compliance.
Yeah.
Making sure that your offer is on the up and up.
On the up and up, sure. Yeah, so 45 days free. It's going to be no cost to have you up and live. So you have the ability then to go and grab the coupon code, learn a little bit more about the promotion.
And one of the things I guess we just didn't mention is we actually have 2 tracks anyone can take. So they can work with our design team to develop a website, but they can also just sign up and play around with the back end and try building one on their own.
So they can publish or I guess design and experiment and preview all on their own.
All of the features. And every week we also offer a public demo, so anyone can sign up for that and ask questions and see all the features we didn't get into today via our website too.
And for those that are doing some of that DIY, say this is something that you're really interested in, you do want to play around, we do weekly DIY chats where we do an open forum, so it becomes more of a study group amongst advisors to be able to come in to see how to more effectively leverage certain parts of the tool, ask specific questions about their website, and it's a really great approach because it's a bit of a community as well, which we really like.
Outstanding. Yeah. Outstanding. So one more time, I'll put it up on the screen. Sign up at fppad.20over10.com. 45-day trial to publish whatever you want, to get online, maybe even promote it up to your broker-dealer compliance department and say, hey, I really like these features. Would you consider making that a part of our package, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this was really beneficial. I was actually very impressed by not only just the website hosting, but the additional features that you put out there. I know it's hard for me to manage my own email sign-up boxes and my own embedded YouTube codes, and to see how easy it was on your demo, I like it. I see an opportunity even for my own site to take advantage of something like that.
We can't thank you enough for having us. It's been a treat.
Yeah, I definitely speak behalf on the entire team, and Nick, my co-founder, who couldn't be here. I'll certainly share those kind words with him. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for joining us for this live-ish broadcast. Be sure to subscribe to the EpiPad YouTube channel, where we hope to do more live or live-ish chats in the future, all about advisor technology. But until then, See you guys later. Thank you.